Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is a follow-up video of the bike that I recently changed from the Seka Exit, and the new bike is Seka's Air. I've ridden this for about 4,500 kilometers, and this is my semi-long-term review. I will be comparing this bike specifically back to the Seka Exit RDC, which I've ridden for about 5,000 kilometers at this point. So I'll be comparing the ride feel and what I have. Okay, so this is my bike setup. So we'll start with the cockpit. So this is the Seka Rapier. It's 38 side to side, and then the stem is 90 cm. I have the default spacers, and then on the front I have the Ultegra Di2, and then we have the Frameset. This is the Chronos colorway for the Seka Spear. It's a glossy finish, and this is in a size L. Okay, size L. And then this is the infamous wind eye. So you can see here, there's like it says a wind eye over there. Okay. Then over here at the front derailleur part, this is Ultegra Di2, and this is the Incolor Skypivot carbon crank arm with their chain ring, and this is 5236. For the pedal wise, we have the Assioma Duo-Shi. I've not changed this, and this is mounted to the Ultegra pedals. Over at the end, we have the Ultegra Di2, Dura-ace 1134 cassette, some Dura-ace chain, and this is the derailleur as well as the Koga. No, I think this is the SLF OSPW. So 1134, 5236. And then the rotors and the calipers, the Dura-ace. And the wheels are Bora Ultra WTOs. They are the C23 version. So this is in the 60 mm. Yep. Oh, and one more part. This is the saddle, the Sworks power mirror saddle. Alright, no computer, just the mount, boil cages, as well as the pedals. No lights at the back. See the weight now. Okay, it's about 714 kg. So this is the Incolor Skypivot arms. This is a 170 mm crank length. So having said this, this crank is not the best for the Seka Spear or the Seka Exit. I have problems trying to get it to work correctly, and the chain will often drop at the front derailleur. I suspect it's because of the Di2, where you can't really index or change the gearing, the spacing. So I think if you're on a mechanical, if you can fine-tune the front derailleur, it shouldn't be an issue. But because due to the nature of 12 speed, especially when you see the chain from the derailleur to the front, from the cassette to the front derailleur, because it's a 12 speed, and if you're on a smaller chain ring, the chain line tends to be a bit slanted, so that makes it very easy for the chain to drop at the front. So this usually shouldn't happen with Ultegra Di2. I mean, Shimano doesn't really have this front shifting problem, but specifically for this crank, it's creating a lot of headache. So I would say I wouldn't recommend this crank arm. They are really stiff, and I think they are quite durable, but the front shifting, not so much, so that's a no from me. For the handlebar, this is the Seka Rapier handlebar. As you can see, this is really thin as compared to the Exit handlebar that I was using previously. So it's really stiff, and I can immediately tell the difference between the two bars when I transferred directly from the Exit to the Spear. So these bars are really stiff. They felt a bit harsh for the first 2 to 3 rides, but after that I got used to it. And ever since then, I like the feeling because it's really, it feels good, especially when you sprint on it. So this is definitely my favorite handlebar. So this is the Sworks power mirror, the carbon padded one. So I think there was a lot of concern whether this kind of technology would it become soft over the past 1 year. And I can safely say that so far it's okay. I don't really see anything other than a few markings caused by my bips. but the padding and everything is okay, nothing. The carbon rails are also doing fine, so totally no issues at all, even after 1 year each of usage. So yeah, this is a good purchase. Okay, then for this Bora Ultra WTOs, I think these are my best wheel set so far. They are pretty expensive, but I think you get what you paid for, because compared to all the wheels that I've tried, for example, Windspace, Elite wheels, the craft wheels which I was using, they cannot compare to WTOs, because one thing I value more is actually the stability. So when it comes to crosswind, I found that carbon spokes tend to catch more wind. So when I'm using the Bora WTOs, this is steel spoke, especially during like the West Coast Highway, and when you're at speed and then there's a strong gust of wind, or when you're descending, this bike doesn't catch wind as much, so it's not as twitchy. There's just something the way about these wheels that makes it even more stable and enjoyable. So I feel more confident in this pair of wheels as compared to the craft racing wheels or the Windspace wheels. So after about, I think I've already clocked 4,000 kilometers on this and 2,000 on when it was mounted to the Seka Exit previously. So that's about 6,000 kilometers so far, and I think the wheel bearings inside, they are still doing fine, even though I've been to some heavy rain rides and all. It didn't get crusty, so the bearings are fine. There's no issue with the wheels whatsoever. Okay, so about the ride quality wise, comparing this Seka Spear to my Seka Exit, both of which I had the same components. If you see my previous videos, I'm using CRW wheels on Seka Exit, but I changed to WTO, and then after that I changed the frame. So I have a one-to-one comparison between the Seka Spear and the Seka Exit. So when it comes to the ride quality, I would say that this bike is way more comfortable, it's more compliant. I'm not sure, is it because of the wind eye area here is a bit thinner, so that give more give. But it's definitely more livelier than the Seka Exit. It doesn't lose its, even though the tubing is a bit more thinner, I guess to save more weight, but it does not lose its speed. In fact, it holds speed almost as well, or in fact as well as the Seka Exit. I'm not sure if the wind eye particularly helped with the aerodynamics, and this frame, according to the white paper, is being said to have 6 watts faster than the Seka Exit. I can't really feel the difference at my riding speed now. I'm not riding at like 40 or 45 kilometers, so I can't really tell. But as a general cyclist riding around 20 plus, 30 plus, that 6 watt difference not really a big thing that I can feel. But one thing for sure is the ride quality is a lot better. I found myself liking to ride this more than the Seka Exit, which I still keep. In terms of climbing and rolling hill, I think this bike really felt a lot better, especially when you're up to speed, and then when you are sprinting with the very stiff handlebar. The whole bike feels very responsive, very alive. I think it's one of the best feeling I had as compared to my previous bikes that I've ridden. That is, I think, the best part about this bike, is that when you're going around 35, especially when you are rolling or descending, this bike just goes really well, and it's really a very nice feeling as compared to the Exit, which I felt that it was still going, but I felt a little bit more dull as compared to the Seka Spear. So when you're rolling, when you're sprinting, I think this bike really strikes everything that I want in the bike. When it comes to climbing, I feel not really a big difference from the Seka Exit, mainly because I think my riding speed going uphill is really slow, so I don't think there's a big difference. Even when I'm climbing, I can't really tell at that slow speed whether the BB is different, because this is using, I think, BSA, and the Seka Exit is using the T47. I don't really think there's a big difference at the speed I'm going, I must caveat. So can't really give a conclusion for that. But sprinting, descending, this bike felt way better than the Exit. And I think, to me, if you're asking whether this frame set is worth it to change from the Exceed to the Spear, I'll say definitely. There's a big difference in the ride quality, and of course I think this colorway, the Chronos colorway, is really nice. So yeah. Alright, so that's all for the long-term review for the bike Seka Spear. Alright, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye.